Alright, so number 2. X-Men. Oh man, X-Men, let me tell you, that was a great cartoon. I mean, look at its success. Look at all the movies coming out now.
One of the best opening credits ever.
Yes, I remember X-Men. It was, again, that was a crazy show too, because I remember the people hated the X-Men, and like, the ones that lived in the sewers, they used to like get captured, and you know, people used to throw tomatoes at them.
Civil rights metaphor.
Yeah. And Magneto, you know, he was, I like Magneto. He like tried to free Beast from the jail.
And Beast is like, no, I'm gonna do this the right way, because
not
Beast.
conform to violence.
The ironic thing about Beast is that he's this big hulking gorilla man, but he's also the most intelligent and sophisticated person on the face of the earth. I mean, there's a reason they got Kelsey Grammer to play him in X-Men 3.
Yeah.
Although they also had you put Kelsey Grammer in X-Men, and you can make him the most sophisticated beast you can. You put him in Transformers, and you have a guy who's so much of a comic book villain that Optimus is forced to kill him. Thank you, Michael Bay.
So moving on. No, there was Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Jubilee. I like Jubilee.
And of course, the most iconic and well-known X-Men character, Morph. Yeah, because you know how important Morph is. Morph was so important that they kind of had to kill him off in the first. Morph was okay. There were 2 characters created in the pilot in the beginning of the show. There were 2 characters that were created just for this cartoon series. One of them was Jubilee, a character. She was a teenage character, because all the X-Men were adults already. But part of the whole thing is like the mutant thing was supposed to be a metaphor for the civil rights, but being a mutant itself is actually supposed to be a metaphor for puberty. So you actually need to have at least one character who's actually going through puberty. Like, so Jubilee is a character who's just discovering her mutant powers, and her power is the ability to like shoot energy bolts from her hands. And when she first discovers it, like touching things, she accidentally melts them. Like, she melted her parents' VCR just by touching it.
Yeah, it's funny, going back, like, I was watching the episodes, and, like, it was so old, because, like, I remember they went to the VCR store to get a new VCR. That's crazy. and then she went to fix her CD player, you know, like...
I still own both of those things. And I make regular use of my VCR.
Yeah, it's true, he records his shows on VCR, which is pretty smart, you know? You save $12 in DVR every month.
And then, like I was saying, the other original character was Morph, the shape-shifting guy who, already kind of taking Mystique's power there, but it doesn't matter because they only introduced him to be the guy that gets killed off in the first episode, to show that they have actual stakes. And I believe they actually did bring him back in a later story.
Yeah, he was evil.
Yeah, Mephisto took over his mind and stuff. And like he tried to like he had this big hero moment when he says, "Even the evil among us still have some good." Like even when he turned good, he couldn't do anything. Poor Morph.
And I remember that episode. They took them to an island, and they couldn't use their power for some reason. And so that's when Professor X could walk.
Yeah.
And then, so they didn't have their powers, and I think someone broke the barrier, and all their powers came, and all you remember is hearing the music. And you see Gambit pull up his card, and Wolverine's claws. No.
Wolverine, he brought the claws. I was like, there ain't nothing mutant about these.
But he couldn't heal. He couldn't heal though.
Yeah, like later on, it's like, I really wish I had my mutant healing factor right now. Yeah, that hurt like a bitch. In fact, Wolverine, don't pull those back in. They're acting as plugs for their own wounds right now.
And I remember that I had a bunch of VHS from that show, and even in Pizza Hut, I remember if you bought like a personal pan, you got the first episode on a VHS.
That was awesome.
So you remember that?
No, I didn't eat a Pizza Hut when I was a little kid, so I didn't know about that promotion.
Yeah.
I don't eat a Pizza Hut now. My mass-produced pizza of choice is Little Caesars. When I'm not eating at a regular pizzeria, I go for Little Caesars. I think that they're the next best thing. I mean, nothing against Domino's or Pizza Hut. I mean, I'm sure they're perfectly fine pizza. I just don't really eat there because Little Caesars has like, you can get a pizza for only $5 there. It's like a big pizza.
All right, moving on. So, do you want to say that what our number one show is?
There can be only one. It's Batman the Animated Series.
Yes.
The first of the great Timverse. Batman the Animated Series, based on its legacy alone, this show, it began as Batman the Animated Series, then it became Batman and Robin when they when the show moved to the WB network, they insisted that they needed to have Robin be in every episode because they wanted youth culture. Then they had to change it to no. You know what it was? When they changed Robin from Dick Grayson, who grew up and became Nightwing. They replaced him with Tim Drake, the younger Robin, and then they were contractually obligated to have Robin appear in every episode. Like even in flashback episodes that had nothing to do with Robin, they still had to have him.
Yeah, that's right. Because in the show, like Robin was in only random episodes, which was pretty weird. You're right. He wasn't in every episode. He was like in every other few episodes. So
yeah, at first he wasn't even in the series. They introduced him a bit later on.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure though, because like I think in the not the order, but in the DVD order, Robin is in the second episode. The DVD order, which is probably not the airing order.
Not the airing order. I think like oh man, this episode, this series is great. What's the legacy this show left behind? Okay, let's see. They came out with Batman and Robin, and then they came out with a Superman show, and then they brought back Batman so he could do a few crossovers with the Superman show. That led over to a couple of spin-offs, Batman Beyond, which was a sequel show, and a couple of spin-off from Batman Beyond was the Zeta Project, and then you had Static Shock, which crossed over with the Justice League cartoon, and the Justice League cartoon aired, and then there was the Justice League and the Justice League Unlimited, and after the Justice League Unlimited show had its run, they had a couple more spin-offs. I don't think that Bruce Timm was not directly involved, but he did do the character designs for Freakazoid, so we can kind of put Freakazoid at like the very fringe of the Timmverse. Although they did do the Creeper, which was what Bruce Timm's original vision for the Freakazoid was gonna be. And then they did then they had a Legion of Superheroes cartoon, but the Legion of Superheroes did cameo in an episode of the JLU, although I think he wasn't directly involved in the follow-up series of the JLU. And then a couple years ago, they had the final cartoon in the Timmverse was the Green Lantern animated series, which was great because like Bruce Timm had said he always wanted to do the Hal Jordan Green Lantern, but situations kept coming up where legally speaking he couldn't do it. So like when they introduced Green Lantern when they introduced Green Lantern in the Superman show, they had to make it Kyle Rayner, and then in the JLU it was Jon Stewart. So finally got to do like the Hal Jordan Green Lantern show he always wanted to do, and it was CGI and it was awesome and it had all these great characters, and they canceled it after a single season because the Green Lantern movie didn't perform, which is bullcrap because he had nothing to do with the Green Lantern movie, and the Green Lantern movie had nothing to do with the show, and they canceled a great show because of a stupid movie that wasn't directly related to. And why don't you talk, because I'm just gonna sit here and sulk about the Green Lantern's premature cancellation for a bit.
Okay, buddy. Anyway, so like I was saying, with Batman, just like Spider-Man, he had his great enemies. You know, there was the Joker, Poison Ivy, Two-Face,
Mr. Freeze,
and you know, and then that weird,
the Mad Hatter, Clayface,
and that weird doll, the
Baby Doll.
No, not Baby Doll, the actual wooden
doll. The ventriloquist.
Doll. Yeah, that was
Mr. Scarface.
Yeah, as a kid, I was confused. I didn't know that he had like the guy
multiple personality.
Yeah. I was like confused as a kid with that, but again, this is not a kid's show, and when it comes to this show, I own all four volumes. My thing is, if you grew up with these shows like we did,
Harley Quinn,
yes, Harley Quinn actually was introduced in that show, and like look at how big she is now. At Comic-Con, you see a bunch of girls and women dressed up as Harley Quinn, which is awesome. Yeah.
They really shouldn't have canceled the Green Lantern show. That was a complete load of crap.
Yeah.
And Young Justice, although Bruce Timm wasn't directly involved in Young Justice, it obviously took inspiration from him as well.
Yes, guys, if you don't want a show to be canceled, buy the toys. Because I remember as a kid, I remember making my mom call me to Toys R Us and having her buy me Batman toys and X-Men toys, Spider-Man toys. I mean, not a lot, but I had a few of each. Oh, and also about Batman, it was Batman was actually the #1 kids show on Fox Kids. It had the 4:30 slot before Power Rangers. So when Power Rangers came, it was moved to #2.
Yeah, gotta love Batman. I mean, Batman the Animated Series, best cartoon ever. But, well, I guess I'll make the caveat of saying it's the best American cartoon ever. Although I think it could really hold its own no matter what country the cartoons come from.
Anyways, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Angel Figueroa, this guy. And if you like what we said, then leave your comments below and tell us what you thought was interesting or what should we cover next. Thank you.